Hello and welcome to another session of Daily Prelims Practice. Here we will take up MCQs based on important news and articles that have featured in The Hindu and Indian Express newspaper. Topics for today's discussion are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion. So the first question of today's session is based on a report named the State of World Population Report, which was published recently. As UPSC has been asking questions based on important reports and indexes which are being published. As in 2019 itself, UPSC has asked a question based on Global Competitiveness Report and its publisher. So let's take up today's practice MCQ. Question says, the State of World Population Report is published by which of the following? So the correct answer is United Nations Population Fund, that is UNFPA. Now, UNFPA is the United Nations Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency. Its mission is to deliver a world where every pregnancy is wanted, every childbirth is safe, and every young person's potential is fulfilled. Another important report which is related to world population estimation is World Population Prospect, which is published by United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, that is UNDESA. Answer for this PYQ is C, that is World Economic Forum. Why we have taken up this question? Because of this news which featured on page number 1 of the Hindu newspaper. According to the report, that is the State of World Population, which is published by UNFPA, India is going to edge ahead of China's population by mid-2023. The report says, contrary to alarm bells, population trends point to slower growth and aging societies. The report also highlights that family planning targets can lead to gender-based discrimination. Our next question is based on a recent discovery in the field of science and technology. As UPSC has been asking questions based on various findings in the field of science and technology, as in 2015, it has asked a question based on the term Goldilocks zone. So let's take up today's practice MCQ. Question says, the term YZ-CETI is often seen in news in the context of, and you have to find the correct answer from the given options. Now this YZ-CETI is a rocky, Earth-sized exoplanet which is rotating around a small red dwarf star which is named as YZ-CETI. It is barely 12 light years from the Earth. Astronomers have detected a repeating radio signal from this exoplanet, suggesting the presence of magnetic field, which is one of the prerequisites for a habitable planet around it. So now, as you know, our correct answer would be C, that is, it is an Earth-sized exoplanet rotating around a small red dwarf star which is named as YZ-CETI. Answer for this PYQ is C, that is, search for Earth-like planet in outer space. Now this news article which featured on page number 9 of the Hindu newspaper deals with the details related to finding of this exoplanet. This article deals with various facets related to it, like how the discovery was made, why does the magnetic field matter, and what does this mean for YZ-CETI. Inspiration for our next question is based on this news which featured on page number 5 of the Hindu newspaper. Now, in an unprecedented event, Meghalaya has announced the closure of all educational institutions in parts of the state due to the occurrence of heat wave. Now, Meghalaya is second northeastern state after Tripura to do so. Now, this is the first such instance for a state which is otherwise known more for its pleasant weather and ample rain. Now, UPSC has been asking questions based on geographical features related to places in news. As in 2014, it has asked you to find the correct match of the hills and their region. So let's take up today's practice MCQ. Question says, what is the correct sequence of occurrence of the following ranges in northeast India as one proceeds from southwest to northeast? Your options are Patkaibum, Garo, Mishmi and Mikir. You have to arrange them in the direction if you will move from southwest to northeast. The Garo Hills are part of the Garo Khasi range in Meghalaya. They are inhabited by the Garo people. It is one of the wettest places in the world in terms of the rainfall. Next comes the Mikir Hills, which are a group of hills located to the south of Kaziranga National Park in the state of Assam. The easternmost Meghalaya, comprising the detached Mikir Hill, is partly isolated, being surrounded by three sites. Karbi Plateau or Mikir Hills is known oldest landform in the state of Assam. Next comes the Patkai Bum Range, which are series of mountains in the Indo-Myanmar border falling in the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland and Upper Burma region of Myanmar. Now moving in the same direction, you will encounter Mishmi Hills in the last, which are located at the northeastern tip of India in northeastern Arunachal Pradesh. So if you will arrange these hills in the said direction, you will first encounter Garo Hills, that is 2. Then you will encounter Mikir, that is 4. Then you will reach to Patkai Bum and at last you will reach to Mishmi Hills. Thus your answer would be C, that is 2, 4, 1, 3. Answer for this PYQ is C, that is 3 and 4 only. Now our next question is based on this news which featured on page number 12 of the Hindu newspaper. Now Union Cabinet has approved the National Quantum Mission, that is NQM, at a cost of around 6,000 crore rupees. The mission will have a defined milestone that are expected to be achieved over a course of 8-year time, starting from 2023 and ending in 2031. Now, developments in the field of science and technology has been a recurring theme in UPSC Prelims examination. As in 2022, it has asked a question based on the term qubit. So let's take up today's practice MCQ. Question says, consider the following statement with reference to quantum computers. You have to identify the correct statements. Statement 1 says, quantum computing calculates with qubits which can represent either 0 or 1. Now this statement is incorrect because quantum computer utilize the principle of quantum mechanics to perform certain types of computation which are much faster than the classical computers. Now classical computer process information using bits which are either 0 or 1, whereas quantum computing uses quantum bits or qubits which can be in a superposition of both 0 and 1 states at the same time. This property of superposition allows quantum computers to perform certain types of calculations much faster than the classical computers. Now statement 2 says the power of quantum computing increases exponentially in proportion to the number of qubits. Now this statement is correct. And this property of quantum computer is unlike classical computers which scale linearly with the number of bits. Now last statement says it is relatively easier to maintain the stability of qubits by increasing the number of qubits. Now this statement is incorrect, as qubits are extremely delicate and prone to errors, and increasing the number of qubits while maintaining their stability is a major challenge in the development of quantum computers. So as you had to find the correct statement, our answer would be B, that is 2 only. You might have understand that answer for this PYQ is B, that is quantum computing. Inspiration for our next question comes from this news which featured on page number 12 of the Hindu newspaper. Now this news is related to recent controversy which is centered around Cadbury's Bonvita and is associated with a social media influencer. Now according to this news, the Food Standards and Safety Authority of India, that is FSSAI, is dragging its feet over implementing its own guidelines to regulate packaged and processed food. Now regulatory bodies, their mandate and their features have been a recurring theme in the UPSC examination. As in 2016, it has asked a question based on Bureau of Energy Efficiency and its function of star labeling. So today we have taken up a practice question which is based on the features of FSSAI. You have to identify the correct statements. Statement 1 says, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India is under the charge of Director General of Health Services. Now this statement is incorrect, as before the formation of FSSAI, from 1954 onwards, prevention of food adulteration was part of the Director General of Health Service, that is DGHS. Now, after having detached from the direct administrative control of the Health Ministry, FSSAI is holding independent authority and has attained a special status. Food Safety and Standards Authority of India is a statutory organization now that reports to Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The chairperson of FSSAI is in the rank of Secretary to the Government of India. Now, second statement says the Food Safety and Standard Rule 2011 provides for the Food Safety Appellate Tribunal for adjudication of food safety cases. Now, this statement is correct, as Food Safety and Standard Rule 2011 provides for an appellate tribunal for the adjudication of food safety cases. So, as you had to find the correct statement, our answer would be B, that is 2 only. Answer for this PYQ is D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Now, inspiration for our last question of today's discussion comes from this news, which talks about the registration of FIR against Oxfam for FCRA violations. This news featured on page number 9 of the Indian Express newspaper. Now, steps taken by government which are aimed at the prohibition of illegal transactions of any form have previously formed the basis of prelims question, as in 2017, UPSC has asked a question based on Prohibition of Benami Property Transaction Act 1988. On a similar line, we have curated a practice question based on the Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Act of 2020, in which you have to consider the following statements and find the incorrect one. Now, statement 1 says, as per the amendment, foreign contribution can only be transferred to such persons who are also registered to accept foreign contribution. Now, this statement is incorrect, as this was the feature of the previous act. However, the Amendment Act removes this provision to prohibit the transfer of foreign contribution to any other person. The term person under the Act includes an individual, association, and a registered company. Now, statement 2 says not more than 25% of the foreign contribution received can be used to meet administrative expenses. Now, this statement is also incorrect, as previously under the Act, a person who receives foreign contribution must use it only for the purpose for which the contribution is received. Further, there was a ceiling that they must not use more than 50% of the contribution for meeting administrative expenses. Now, the amendment has reduced this limit to 20% only. Now, third statement says the amendment adds that suspension of registration may be extended further up to an additional 90 days beyond the original period of 180 days. Now, this statement is also incorrect, because amendment adds that such suspension may be extended up to an additional 180 days. So, as you had to find the incorrect statements, our answer would be D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Answer for this PYQ is B, that is 2 only. That's all for today's session. Stay tuned for more such updates.